Okay, April 23rd, quarter to 3. Asia session opens in about 15 minutes. And just what a week so far. I mean, we're talking 5125 to almost to 5500, 470, 400, excuse me, 475 point move. I mean, that it's like, what, 7% or something? No, 8%. Yeah, just super super bearish on Monday. Everybody's like, okay, here we go. We're going to follow through. And then just massive short squeeze. So where's that put us? So today we almost got back to the highs, 55.27, and the 20 was like 55.12. We were only like 27 points away from that, which is like a 5-minute candle sometimes now. I mean, today there was 15-minute candles. There's one from 54.52. There's like 45 point 15-minute candles. There's like a 45 point, yeah, I mean 54.70 to, yeah, there's 50 point 15-minute candles now. ATRs average like 21, 22, just moving. Rip your face off or give you the ride of your life. So what's next? Okay, so fib is set on today. Fib is set on the last 2 days, and fib is set on the last 3 days. Because none of this stuff behind us, I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't, because we're breaking lows and we're trying to break highs, but we're not having any follow through. So I mean, this whole thing in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions of just, I'm expecting more and more and more of that, because this is such a headline driven environment. And yeah, I mean, intraday stuff can come out and get a 50-point move in 15 minutes. That's, yeah, we're running at a almost 190 point ATR on the daily. I mean, that's 3.5, 4% move in the market per day on average. That's massive. But so today on some bounce levels, the 53.85, which corresponds with the buy zone in between the 76%. So this Fibonacci, the last 3 days, is right on the money for a bounce level. So this is a major level right here. But we have this gap below, which everyone's going to be looking at. So typically with this big move, we're going to come down and get to 53.13 at least. Why? Because that's a 50% retracement. We'll put the last 3 days in balance. And it's also right at that 8 moving average. But we know it's going to come back down here, and there'll be a bounce here, but will the bounce hold? I mean, that's what everybody's going to be looking at. And then there's this fib level right below the 5300, because everybody's got their stops at whole numbers. So it's likely to dip a little bit below that. So for tomorrow, unless we get some positive news and we take out these highs, you're going to be looking at resistance of, maybe even all the way up to 54.72. There is some kind of news at 5:30 tomorrow. But on the long side of things, given that this almost went all the way back up to 55.28. The bias is now for the long for sure, because we broke this downtrend line to the upside, and now, and what I've heard from people that are a lot smarter than I am is once you break that trend line, the trend is over. But we also still have this trend line that has not been touched, and it's still below Monday's low. So yeah, this trend line was broken big time, not just a little peak. Yeah, had it just peaked yesterday and then rolled back over. I think some people were anticipating that, but Tesla's earnings blew things out of the water. So now you have that, and it's looking more and more like a bull flag. It was like a bull kind of diamond here with this trend line. That got broken to the downside, so everybody's like, oh, that's over. And then you could have bull flag. So, but none of that matters anymore. The only thing that matters is this space in here now. So this is kind of the space we're playing in now. And obviously there's a lot of air underneath here, especially for that gap back down to this trend line. So yeah, it could go either way right now. But I do believe, based on things the market like to revisit balance points, that the 53.34 will definitely get touched, possibly, and maybe even the 52.99. So, and then on news, it could wick people out to 52.73. But I don't anticipate in the next 2 days, unless there's some major negative news, that we break down to this upper trend line. If we do start to hold below the 8, then I would expect early next week we just kind of trickle fade down, but this trend line is rising. And then if we do break this trend line and we do break this low, then we're in a whole nother conversation. But right now there is a bullish bias, and but that can change in 24 hours. So for tomorrow, these are our long bounce levels, right around the 50, somewhere between 52.74 and 52.98. That's where I'll be looking for reversal. 52.74 to 52.98 is the reversal area. We'll be looking for that reversal back up to the 53.40 and then the 53.670. So yeah, that could be a nice move tomorrow. And that's going to be the long I'm looking for. Trade them well.